The summertime sun is something to be savored, but when combined with the clean country air, it's all the better. The track and field club members are horsing around on the field ahead. Some are playing with a soccer ball, others are talking, and a few laugh as two of them mock fight with each other. None of them pay me any heed as I sit alone on the grass, underneath the shade of a particularly large tree. It's a nice and peaceful moment after a dreary day of schoolwork. I played soccer pretty often before my heart attack, so I thought it would be really nostalgic to watch them. What I'm feeling now, though, is quite distinct from that emotion. I hear footsteps approaching from behind me, and I turn my head to see one of my classmates taking a seat beside me. I'm taken off guard as the two of us haven't talked much before, and I didn't think anyone would notice me here. Sup? Hi. Miura, wasn't it? Just call me Mickey. Surnames are too stuffy. Likewise then. We both look back out at the field where the guys are playing. It looks like they're getting ready to have a second game, with people spreading out to their positions and the ball being carried to the center of the field. Sure enough, the whistle is blown to begin the match, and they get right back into it. Not going to play, I ask. Nah, just gonna rest for a bit. What about you? You kinda look like you wanted to play when you were watching us before. So someone did notice me after all. It's kind of a long story, I say. Her face says that I piqued her interest. I continue. I'm in Yamaku because I've got a heart condition. I can't really play soccer anymore. Wanted to be a soccer player, did you? No, I say, I only really did it for fun. My friends played it, so I played it as well. Any of those guys playing around could have been me before my accident, but I don't feel like I have any real wish to go back to that either. It's a little hard to explain. I'm still decently physically built from the days when I played, even if my strength's largely left me by now, and I got on well with the other club members. When I think about it, I should feel pretty bad watching people play when I can't anymore. Yet, I don't. Maybe it's a good thing, a sign that I've gotten over it and that I'm ready to become a new person. Sorry, I tell her, I'm kinda rambling. It's cool, she says. I'm actually glad to hear that. It sounds like you really have your stuff together. Some of the people that come to Yamaku are pretty messed up at first. I say, so you're a member of the track and field club then? Yep, been in it since I first arrived, she said. I don't suppose you're friends with Emmy, I ask. Short, fast runner, no legs. I don't think there are all that many female track and field members. Ha 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 ha, Emmy. Everybody knows about her, don't they, she says. But nah, I tend to get on better with the guys, so me and Emmy don't really talk much. Anyway, what about you? Well, I'm not really into any clubs, I say. Real clubs, anyway. You've been hanging around with Hanako and that blonde Amazon, though, right? She asks. Blonde Amazon. I suppose Lilly has the height to fit that description, if nothing else. I nod in response without making too fine a point of things. Then don't worry about it, she says. As long as you've got some friends, you don't need to join a club. A loud whistling from the field attracts our attention. One of the players is on the ground clutching his leg, and the other players stop play to jog up to him, leaving Mickey grimacing. Ouch, that looks painful, she said. That guy really has bad luck. As she continues to look out on the field, I can't help being reminded of her own injuries. Her left arm, ending in a stump rather than a hand, has been bandaged up for the entire time I've been at Yamaku, and her injury doesn't seem that new. She turns to talk to me again and catches me looking. Both of us sit in awkward silence as she takes her bandaged arm and holds it in her lap with her other remaining hand. Sorry, I say. I guess I'm still a bit... It's fine, really. Her tone is light, but neither of us says anything afterwards. Every disabled student here has their own way of dealing with their problems, and some finding their conditions troublesome is only natural. I'm included among them, after all. The injured guy from the soccer game manages to get on his feet with some help and ends up hobbling off the field with one arm over the shoulder of another for support. Probably just pulled a muscle if he can still manage to walk. The whistle blows again and the game continues once more with one less man on the field. Mickey continues. Hanging out with Hanako and that blonde girl, you keep some pretty strange company. How so, I ask. It's just that Hanako's kind of... I don't know, she says. Shy, I say. No, it's not really that. It's just... she's got some issues, I think. I can't really put it in a nice way. Not that I don't think she's a nice person, though. She's perfectly nice. Just hard to deal with. It sounds like Mickey, or at least some other people in the class, have tried to get closer to Hanako in the past, and that it didn't go well. I think her judgment is rather harsh, given that everyone, not just those in Yamaku, have their own issues. Then again, I haven't known Hanako for that long, so it wouldn't surprise me if there was some stuff I didn't know about. I'll just take it as it comes, I say. She's a nice person, and I think that should be all that matters. Mickey's eyes narrow a little, and her smile spreads. You really like her, don't you? Mickey certainly doesn't mince words. To be honest, I say, yeah, I do. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell anyone. Hey, whoa, you can trust me. No problems there. To be honest, I think it's kind of cute, she says. If you want to go for it, don't let me stop you. Thanks, I say. She may say that, but she was just talking about Hanako having issues. Still, I want to hold myself to the words I said. Hanako's problems don't matter. I'll deal with anything that comes up because I want to help her. If there's even the smallest possibility that I can pull Hanako out of her depression and seclusion, then I should work towards that, no matter what. If she needs a prince, then I will be that prince. As I think about the possibility of a relationship, I can see Mickey grinning at me while watching my face. I'm no doubt blushing, and looking away from her only makes her laugh. Mickey gives off a different vibe from the other girls. Talking to her feels more like talking to a guy than a woman. Her saying she prefers male company doesn't help to dispel that notion either. Glancing at my watch shows that lunch break is ending in only a few minutes. Time to start heading back to class. Lunch is about to end, I say. Wanna head back? Yeah, we'd better, she says. I pick myself up off the grass and dust myself off, offering a hand to Mickey to help her up as well. She takes it and easily pulls herself up, showing the muscles moving in her toned bare arms in the process. Come to think of it, I say, why aren't you wearing the normal girl's blouse? It's too hot and constricting. The boy's uniform is better anyway, she says. She throws her arms around a bit to emphasize the point, which has the side effect of showing off one particular part of her body that would be especially constricted by the blouse. The two of us start the walk back to the main building through the gardens, talking as we go. She says, "It sounds like you're settling in well. That's a relief. It was pretty surprising to get a transfer student at this point in the year, considering the exams are coming up." Don't remind me, I say. Don't worry about them, she says. Just cram it and you'll be fine. That doesn't sound like good advice, I say. She claps my shoulder a couple of times as she grins. I don't think she takes school very seriously. You seem like a smart guy, and Muto's taken to you well already. You're like a hand in a glove. Now, to work out whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I say. I still don't know what to make of this school. I've been here a few weeks already, but I still feel dazed at times. You'll get used to it, she says. Just give it some time. It's only a high school, just like any other. She makes it sound so simple, but I've never thought about it that way. To me, Yamaku symbolized a marked shift in my life. I was no longer normal, I was different, and was to be educated with other different people. And yet, I'm walking back to class and talking casually with a classmate during lunch after watching some others play a soccer game. All perfectly normal. Maybe she has a point. Maybe I should just look at Hanako in the same way. Everyone has their own issues. This is hardly something unique to Yamaku. After all, it's only a high school, just like any other. As we continue to talk, I find myself smiling. Mickey and I are very different people in almost every way, but it feels good to have gotten to know another classmate a bit better. A light breeze blows the scent of early summer around my head while I wait for Lilly. Small white clouds litter the sky, breaking up the monotony of the blue. Hisao, are you here? Lilly's voice lilts on the breeze as if it were one and the same thing. I stop gazing into the sky to examine Lilly. With a peach off-the-shoulder sweater and a tan ankle-length skirt, in addition to tan sandals, she's quite a nice sight. Yeah, I'm over here, Lilly, near the gate. Were you able to sneak away from Hanako, I ask. Yes, it's not uncommon for me to go out during the weekends, so I don't think she noticed anything suspicious. That and she has someone she sees. Lilly purses her lips as if she maybe shouldn't have continued. I find it a little hard to believe. Hanako seeing someone, I ask? Really? No, she says, it's just... She sees a therapist every so often on weekends. Oh, well, that does make a lot of sense, I say. Lilly rubs her arm uncomfortably, and after one look at her troubled expression, I quickly move to change the topic away from Hanako. Huh. Yes? I was wondering, you can get around the city on your own. Lilly sighs at my consternation surrounding the topic of her blindness. I'm my own worst enemy sometimes. I can, yes. It's easier when I'm out with a friend or my sister, though. I wonder how Lilly gets along with her sister. Being an only child, it's hard to imagine what having a sibling would be like, so it makes me a little envious of her. Right, I say. Well then, the bus arrives in a few minutes, so we should probably get a move on. Indeed, it's a long wait if we miss this one. With that, we set off for the bus stop on the hill. It's only a small distance from the school gate, so it's very convenient. It's a nice view from here, I say. Coming from the city, I never really got to see scenery like this, let alone on a daily basis. This area is nice for me as well, she says. It's tranquil and away from the noises and smells of the city. Lilly's head perks up in a trademark gesture of hers, signifying that she's caught a sound. Oh, here comes the bus. I look down the road to see the bus trundling up the hill. Her hearing's quite a useful tool. The bus only takes a short while to reach the bus stop, forcing its way up the road, and within a minute we are on our way to the city. Walking around the city, I feel a distinct nostalgia. The smells, the traffic, the tall buildings everywhere. It's a lot like my native city, save for the raised walkways. It feels a little weird walking around a city as casually as I would in a park, but with cars rushing around underneath me. As I'm busy pondering the engineering marvel that is the raised walkway, I get a surprise. It takes a moment for me to realize that Lilly has wrapped her arm around mine, extending her cane in front of me with her other hand. For a moment I'm startled, but I managed to keep enough of a lid on it for Lily not to notice. While it's not the first time that Lily's relied on me for guidance, she'd only held onto my sleeve's cuff before. It's logical that it'd be easier for her to navigate a crowded and complex area such as a city while securely linked, but I'm far from being used to this kind of contact as Lily is. Finally realizing the growing silence between us as Lily waits for me to get moving, I quickly kick my brain into gear. You know, I say, it was quite a surprise that Hanako likes to sing. Have you ever heard her do that before? I have indeed. We've been to karaoke sessions several times, along with my sister. I can't say I take to the activity much, but the other two like it. Maybe Hanako doing karaoke is more fitting than I initially thought. Just her and those she knows, all alone in a little room. It would give her a rare chance to let her guard down, with nobody else there to judge her. Maybe it would be nice to bring her into town for a karaoke birthday party if she likes doing it, I say. I'm not sure she would deal very well with the excitement, Lily says. I move to protest, but her face shows that she's mulling the proposal over some more. It takes quite some time for her to come to a conclusion. Then again, she says, the best thing we can do for Hanako at this point is to try to create some pleasant birthday memories. Continually treating her as if she's abnormal won't help. I think you're right, I say. If she has something to remember apart from loss, then maybe she'll come around. If we bought her something nice that she could see every day, then maybe she'd be able to take her mind off her past and remember that she has friends. And in any case, I think Hanako can handle something like this. In the time I've spent beside her, I've learned that she isn't quite as frightfully fragile as I first thought she was. So shall we be off, I say? I'm not really sure about the layout of this area. Very well. I might like to suggest having something to eat first, Lily says. I haven't either, so that sounds like a good plan, I tell her. Make sure you choose a nice place, Hisao. She gives a teasing smile, one that makes me smile reflexively in response, even if she can't see that. I'll make very sure I do, don't worry about that. Once inside, I order 2 slices of pie and accompanying cups of tea and take them back to our table. I'd peg this cafe as the type to appeal to Lily, small and quiet, but well-kept and somewhat upscale. Going by the dainty smile she wears, I don't really know if I chose right. It's very, very rare to not see her smiling after all. Nevertheless, I take a seat near her at one of the corner tables and lay down our small meals. Lily gingerly brings her head over the slice of pie placed in front of her, delicately taking in the aroma. Lemon pie, is it? Thank you, Hisao. No problem, I say. The tea's just next to it, so be careful not to knock it over. She nods appreciatively, but judging from the slightly weak smile she has, the warning really wasn't necessary. I suppose the sound must have tipped her off to its position. We both tuck into our food without further ado, both of us remaining largely silent as we do so. Lily isn't the type to appreciate discussion while eating, and I can't say I like it either. Eventually, we finish both our meals, and the last of our teacups follows in short order. Lily's the first to break the silence. That was very nice. I must say you've chosen quite well, Hisao. This is the first time I've really had much of a look around the city, so all I could really do is choose somewhere that looked nice, I say. Damn. Sorry. I feel really bad for inadvertently bringing up the subject of sight around Lily, but she doesn't appear to mind much. Quite the opposite, she almost looks amused by my awkward attempt at an apology. You are thoughtful, Hisao, but sometimes I fear that it gets the better of you. There's no need to change your speech on my account. Lily truly is pretty comfortable in dealing with her condition. I still hasten to change the subject, as I can't really say that I share her confidence in the matter. Have you lived here for very long, I say? It seems like you have this place pretty much sorted out. She quickly waves her hand in front of her face to dismiss the notion. It's nothing like that. I've attended Yamaku since the start of high school, but I didn't walk around the city very much because Akira, my sister, picked me up and dropped me off. Oh right, you mentioned not living in the dormitories until recently. It's quite a surprise. I'd just assumed she'd been living here since entering Yamaku at the least, which would give her a few years here. I've lived with my family for most of my life, Lilly continues. Then I was just together with my sister. With my family having moved to Inverness long before and Akira working longer hours, I ended up having to move. Inverness, I say, isn't that somewhere in Scotland? Oh, did I not tell you? My family currently lives in Scotland, the birthplace of my mother. My father's side is mainly Japanese, though. Huh. The question of what gave Lilly her looks did cross my mind every now and again, but I'd never thought to ask. That answers that, then. To be honest, I say, I'd never have guessed. Considering that you have no accent, I'm guessing you were born here? Full marks. I am thankful for my heritage, though, as without it I'd likely have not been taught English so early in my life. And what of you, Hisao? What about me? She gives a moment's thought. She probably should have thought of what to ask me before switching the target. I'll go with, what are your plans for the future? To be honest, I haven't thought much about that recently. After my accident and subsequent months in the hospital, enjoying my life here with you and Hanako has been enough for me. In fact, I don't think I've thought at all about a future for some time now. It seems almost futile. This is your last year of school, she says. After this, you will have to fend for yourself one way or the other. It's not like I don't know that, I say. I just haven't put much thought into it since then. She opens her mouth to continue, but gives a small sigh instead. She seems to have realized that she really doesn't know enough about my situation to go too deeply into this. Well, we all have our own pace. I just hope you'll take any chance you see. I understand. I'll think about it. Okay, as the title says, Interludes. A couple of rather peaceful interludes here before we get back into the main thrust of the story. First one being Hisao sitting and watching a soccer match, and then he has a conversation with Mickey, one of the secondary characters in the game. We don't see her too often, but she does pop up in one or two of the character arcs here. Nice girl. She's the one that is missing her left arm, keeps it bandaged, or left hand, always keeps it bandaged. I bring it in particular because they have a nice little conversation. And but in particular because of this, I'm in Yamaku because I have a heart condition. I can't really play soccer anymore. You know, a little bit of a discrepancy, a little bit of a issue here in that the people he's close to, in this case Hanako and Lilly, he has this compulsion about not telling them what's going on with him. You know, all the 5 romantic leads. Remember Rin? He didn't want to tell Rin about his heart condition. He just kind of blurted it out and then mused about, why can't I tell people? Same thing. He had to be practically forced and have it drug out of him to tell Hanako and Lilly that he has a heart condition. And yet, right here, when it's someone that really doesn't matter in the story, he just drops it like it's no big concern whatsoever. Now, is that because of differences in feelings? Is it a bit of a writer discrepancy? Or is it because hanging around with the people and getting used to everyone have a problem has helped him accept his problem? Don't know. Anyway, at that point, we have another decision that comes up. And it's the question of, do you like Hanako or not? Well, here we go, and this time we admitted it. Yes, yes, we're quite fond of Hanako. And we make her promise that she's not going to tell anyone. She's like, no problem, go for it. No skin off my back. If you deny it, excuse me, if you deny it, it's a situation where the only thing that changes is the next two screens have slightly different dialogue. She is a little disappointed. She's like, oh, I thought I found some juicy gossip. And then in the next scene, he's sitting there thinking to himself that, we're friends. Hanako and I are friends, and I'd like there to be more, but I'm not really going to get into that with Mickey at this time. And then it continues on exactly the way you saw it. Then we meet up with Lilly to go into town and search for a gift for Hanako for her birthday. We talk about the fact that Hanako enjoys karaoke, which comes as quite a surprise to us. So we think about that. And then we sit and we have a quiet lunch together at a cafe, and we talk about our backgrounds a little bit. Like I said, just some peaceful interludes, finding out a little character building, a little character background. Find out that she's half Scottish, which explains her striking looks and her blonde hair, and she talks about what are my plans after college and all. So the only issue coming up here is the fact that we're kind of sneaking around behind Hanako's back, and we will see if that becomes an issue in the future.